that I am totally opposed to any effort to impose Sharia on the United States, and we should have
United States of America, not of Islam, not of Sharia law. Sharia law has no bearing and impact whatsoever on our criminal justice system.
Sharia is really the practice of the Islamic way of life, ranging from issues like what we eat, how we pray, how we wash before prayer.
Now people are asking questions, say, about Sharia. What is Sharia? Our neighbors are nice people. They have questions and they're looking for answers. And they want to hear directly from Muslims, not from the guy on the TV or the radio and all that. They want to hear from Muslims. And that was the reason when we started Radio Islam.
It's called Sharia, or the way to finding the better outcome, the best outcome for all concerned, according to our guide, which is the Quran.
The core values of Radio Islam is to help correct the misperceptions, misunderstandings of Islam.
Radio Islam is a voice to proactively set the stage and set the agenda for our society.
In fact, how we wash before prayer is considered something that a proposed anti-Sharia bill right here in the U.S. is considering making a felony.
There is a growing influence of traditional Islamic law on decisions that are being made in U.S. courts. It is shocking some, and that has led one lawmaker to try to amend his state's constitution. It's part of the Save Our State initiative in Oklahoma. It's expected to pass in the November elections.
Are there any judges here in Oklahoma currently using Sharia?
Not yet, and you know what? There won't be any with passage of 755. This is the picture of what is American.
The fact that you would criminalize ritual purification before prayer is not only un-American, it contradicts the American Constitution. It also contradicts American values which uphold freedom of religion.
But every community needs its way of sorting through the information. And today, that information source, or should I put an S on that, the sources are so wide and widely varied that it's imperative that you have a way to get people focused on an issue and sort it through as a community.
The angle of our show is also being imitated by mainstream media, and that's great. I open up the door for that because it means that we're helping to shape the conversation of Muslims in America.
So much, folks, for tuning into Radio Islam at WCEV 1450 AM. I'm your host, Janan Hashim. We are a live daily call-in talk radio program on the air. Our lines are open at 773-777-1450. I invite you to chime in tonight as thoughts or questions cross your mind. Again, that number 773-777-1450. So what is the anti-American hype that's hitting the airwaves nowadays? My first guest is Professor Inam al-Haq. He teaches Islam at Elmhurst College.
No one understands what it really means. These words are demonized.
It's the opportunity to meet people. Anybody, everybody who is willing to talk to us, either in studio or over the telephone, we're accessible to us. And having the opportunity to meet people who are thinkers, who are not locked in and regimented by dogma and principle, to explore ideas and see what new is out there. That was very important about Radio Islam for me.
Special guest, who is Mr. Robert D. Grant, the special agent in charge with the FBI.
Representative King has reasons for his hearings. I think that's for him to defend and him to explain.
One of the things that I am aware of is that often when they'll call me to come over for an interview, the issues that are being examined and thought about are issues that directly pertain to the families and sometimes to the relatives of families who are listening to Radio Islam. And so I'm always impressed by the level of awareness, the insight, and sometimes the high level of feeling invested in the news stories that are covered.
Radio Islam recently had me on the show to discuss bullying, cyberbullying, and bullying in the schools, and along with experts. President Obama is addressing this concern, and I felt privileged to be part of that discussion. Help many of our students to reach the balance that they're looking for of living Islamically and being an American citizen, taking both and making them unite and help them succeed in life.
Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, we're not going too far back with this preface. He was recognized, I believe in the 1930s or thereabout, by our United States Supreme Court as one of the greatest lawgivers in the history of man.
Anti-Sharia campaign is a fear-mongering campaign that has nothing to do with any threat that Sharia values and ideals are posing the American public. Professor Hawk said
It means we have 7.8 million listeners. And say if just 1% of those 7.8 million listeners tune into Radio Islam, every night we're reaching 78,000 people. That's enough to fill up any of our stadiums.
Adam's World, for example, is one project of Sound Vision. It's one of our hallmark programs. It's one of the oldest programs we have. And as somebody who grew up watching Sesame Street, I understand that the power of something as simple as a children's program to not only teach you and educate you, but to make you proud of who you are, to understand your own values, where you're coming from, in a way that is uplifting and empowering. And Adam's World is not just alternative entertainment. It is that, of course, but it's also something which young people, even those who are past the age of Adam's World, which is generally 8 or 9, it's something that you can learn from, it's something you can laugh at, and it's something you generally leave with feeling good about not just yourself, but about life in general. That's why our programs, our songs, our articles, our CDs, our games, all of these things aim to encourage young Muslims to see their faith beyond what they see on the news, what they read about on CNN or Fox News or elsewhere, which is primarily negative.
That's where Sound Vision comes in. Sound Vision develops website, articles, radio programs, and now we're focused on developing Sharia 101, a website which says how we live Islam on the daily basis. We pray, fast, do charity, take care of our families, have dinner, have fun, roam around. This is all our life. This is Sharia. We're living that life on the daily basis.
Islam. Maybe we need a Muslim version of The Cosby Show. It's interesting.
I know that sounds...
To say it's okay to be Muslim. There's nothing wrong with being a Muslim. In fact, there's a lot to be proud about if you're a Muslim.
But when you have your favorite radio show and you know that they are going to cover the issues of the day, of the week, taking you back and forth, bring various commentators together on those issues, it becomes critical to have that resource.
And I'm very excited to see that Radio Islam is populated by young interviewers, young producers, young researchers, and that's something that compels me always to say yes anytime that I get a call from Radio Islam.
The concept of tolerance, the concept of exploring each other's cultures in a respectful way is so important to addressing some of the concerns that we see causing the bubbling up of revolution and social unrest throughout the Middle East or the Muslim worlds today and other cultures. So Radio Islam is a great institution with a great opportunity to be a voice to the world about how Islam can thrive given a chance to do so.
To keep that going. And now that people are turning their radios back on, then we need to make sure Radio Islam serves.
And that's Radio Islam.
Everyone's talking about Islam and Muslims. It's about time that you talk. This is WCEV 1450 AM. You're listening to Radio Islam, a Sound Vision production.